You know, they're the events that are tough to plan for and can change your life. And almost no one is safe from periods of lost income because of a health crisis, a job loss, or other life transitions during the working years.
They are so common, in fact, that 96% of Americans experience 4 or more of these income shocks by the time they reach the age of 70. Good news, there are some things we can all do to help ourselves. And joining us now via satellite is the president and CEO of the National Endowment for Financial Education, Ted Beck. Ted, thanks for taking some time this morning. You know, so many Americans kind of live right there on the edge. They either can't afford to put any money aside or just sort of choose not to save for a rainy day. But just how likely are we to experience a financial setback?
Well, the answer is very likely. I mean, the number you just quoted surprised us when we concluded the research on this, that 96% of people will suffer that income setback, defined as a 10% drop year over year in their income 4 or more times. And also about 60% of American men between the ages of 25 and 70 will be out of work for a year or more during that same time frame. And the causes are, the number one's health related. Something happens that prevents you from working. Job loss is second and divorce is third. So they're real. We also asked the same question about what about the last year? Have you had any setbacks? Have you had any surprises in expenses? And almost 2/3 of people answered that yes, they had. They were surprises. And in order, the first one was transportation. Something happened to their car. Second was something happened to their house, and third was a medical bill. So we've all lived with those. I mean, the answer to the question is, it's not if, it's when, and how are you going to be prepared for that income shock?
Yeah, and those numbers are really distressing, to be quite frank with you. And as you noted, you may know they're going to come, but you don't know when they're going to come. So how do you prepare for unexpected expenses and interruption of income?
Well, the good thing is there's stuff you can do. I mean, the first place to start is building an emergency account. Only about half of Americans have an emergency account, which surprised me. I thought it would be more. Likewise, we find in our research that sometimes people who have emergency accounts don't use them. They like having that money there, so they'll actually increase their debt load when they have an emergency. So I think one of the first things to say is, it's okay to use the emergency account. That's what it's there for. You can rebuild it after the event that took place. The other big one right now, I think, is very timely and very topical, and that's the change in the tax rules. Over the next month or so, most people are going to be seeing a noticeable increase in their take-home pay. If you take the typical American family that makes $60,000 a year, during the course of the year, that increase is going to be $1,200 or $1,300 is the projection. So how can you put that money to work for you, that extra cash you might be getting soon? One way is to build up that emergency account. And the other thing I think you really need to look at is, if you are carrying credit card balances with high interest rates, try to pay them down. Because not only are you reducing your debt load, but if you're paying 20% interest, you're putting money in your pocket. So you've got this chance to really kind of get ahead of the game by looking at what's going to happen to your paycheck very soon.
And Ted, is there a big difference, just to kind of jump off from a point you just mentioned, between an emergency account and just what you would consider a basic savings account?
They overlap. I think the emergency account is a great place to start, because very often, you know, there's a guideline out there that says try to save 6 to 9 months of your annual income. That's great if you can do it.
Yeah.
But I think people have to start at a more realistic level. So we tell people, just set a goal. If money's tight, set a goal of $500 to $1,000 that you're going to do over the course maybe of a year, so that you can show yourself that you can do it. Then once you've got that emergency money and a willingness to use it if you get your car breaks down, then you can start to build on a longer-term savings plan after that, because you've created the own discipline in your lives to make it work. So it's a question of steps. Start with emergency. Once you've got that under control, then start building out a long-term savings plan for your retirement.
All right, Ted Beck, that's some great information that you just gave us. Thank you so much for that. Once again, that was Ted Beck, who is the CEO of the National Endowment for Financial Education.
It's 9:46.